What's up, guys, and welcome to a new game called Decade. Pretty much brand new. It's been out for maybe a week or two, and I heard some pretty cool things about it, and from what it looked like, it's going to be a good time. Haha, see what I did there? This is a game about time, perhaps. I'm thinking it might be a little similar to Outer Wilds, maybe a stories untold sort of vibe to it. So I'm excited to get this thing going. Let's do this in a movie trailer voice. The world has ended. A metallic rain has pounded all life on Earth into a silvery black pulp. You were raised in a facility designed to protect against the rains. 5 years ago, when even these facilities deteriorated, you left along with thousands of other children to try and find some way of surviving. You were 12. The rain slaughtered them. They slaughtered each other. But you and 3 younger children that you managed to protect found this place. A sophisticated bunker built deep into the side of a mountain, which draws water from deep underground, able to synthesize food from its algae. It won't last forever, but it has kept you all alive these past 5 years. You spent that time learning about the strange machine contained within this bunker, a machine that allows you to send someone into the past and retrieve them after they have spent 10 years there. Now is the time to use it. All right. A metallic rain has pounded all life on Earth. That's so interesting. Is it like, It brings to mind like space debris, you know, like the satellites reached a critical mass and they all crashed into each other, and now there's just like little bolts and bits of satellites falling into the ground. Okay, so then I did watch a little video that the creator of this game made on how to play, but unfortunately I did not watch it enough. Okay, let's see what these buttons do. Okay, all right, and that's just full screen. Those arrows are full screen or not. Jag's drawing. Whoa. Those birds, 3-headed bird, and little symbols here. Very interesting. All right, so that was Jag, huh? Maybe we send him to the past first. Let's see, the year 462 to 472. I'm assuming this is like in the future, in a real world, in the future, 462 years after some year zero, where it's not, you know, BCE and not CE, Common Era, but like after that sometimes. So let's just send Jag back since we have a Jag drawing. Click on a character to close this chat window. You can pick up where you left off in the conversation. Oh, we can talk to them. Hey, Jag. Good. What did you just call me? I'm not a loser. You're a loser. No. Yes, you're the losiest loser who ever lost. You're a big loser, the biggest loser since losers began. You're the ultimate loser, the alpha and omega of losers. With you, loserdom has reached its zenith. Can I just say thank you for putting this dialogue in the game? Thank you. That's not a word. Loser, you're the biggest loser. You're such a big loser. The world ended. Ha. Okay, you win. Good job, 9-year-old Jag. All right. And you lose. Yeah, I win. I mean, you win and I lose. All right. Okay, so Jag says, wait, I want to tell you something. Mons tried to climb the bookshelf this morning and fell down. Oh no, is she okay? Ula put a plaster on her and I told her not to do it again, but she wanted to, but I didn't let her. Mons is tough. Yeah. Wait, I want to tell you about when Ula lost one of her pet spiders and I had to climb the bookshelf because I saw there was a web on the top. Okay, later maybe, after you've gone into the machine. I was going to assign Jag. We go into the machine and then we come out and we're really, really big. Well, no, actually. That'll be like what it's like for me, but for you, you'll go into the machine and come out in a completely different place. Will you be there? No, but I'll be waiting back here and you'll come back to see me, Mons and Ula. You'll understand when you go through. Wow, that's really the only preparation we're going to give him, huh? All right. Assign Jag. Send Jag back to the decade of 462 to 472 to discover what happened. Yeah, so this kid is going to be 19 when he comes back, and then he's going to tell us what happened. And I think we get to stop the metal rain or something like that. So we're sending these kids back in time to prevent whatever has happened. Cool. King Adam. Trippy. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Hey, he's 19 now. And he's violent. Oh, no. Did you miss me? Ha! It was a tough 3 minutes, Jag. You okay there, bud? I bet it was like a coffin in here. All right. Tell me about the past you just came from. This may seem incredible to you, but there were no rains. Well, not always. And when there was rain, it wasn't toxic at all. Even so, it was a very dangerous time. Why? What was happening there? There was no fear of death. People were violent and impulsive. This is in the 460s, huh? Go on, Jag. It was a strange time. People roamed, scavenged the remnants of cities and civilization, hunting the few animals that existed. There was no universal communication system beyond radio. They lived lives of private endeavor, seeking only to make themselves stronger, strong enough to kill and dominate in the conflicts which arose whenever they came across another. People killed for resources, for territory, but a lot of the time just because they saw it as a virtue. They called this way of thinking Vetiverists. Huh. Killing as a virtue, yeah, that seems the most interesting, pressing matter, especially since it seems to have changed as a Jag violent. Yeah, killing as a virtue, buddy? Yes, a sort of natural law. It's hard to explain. It's like a religion. Like only the strong survive. So like almost like eugenics, right? Like if you aren't strong enough to survive everyone trying to kill you, then we're better off ridding you from the gene pool. So yeah, how did you survive, Jag? I think I already know that. You seem a little different than when you left. Not the sweet 9-year-old you used to be. How did you survive? It wasn't easy. I got lucky more than a few times. I was a slave for almost a year, but I broke free. Still, even with all of that time's craziness, it was wonderful to breathe the air and feel real grass. You know, yeah, I guess being a slave... well, okay, I won't go that far, but it was different, I'm sure, than the bunker is. All right, so didn't people band together? Yeah, didn't people cooperate? Sometimes people acted together sometimes, but only temporarily. Community was seen as weak, shameful. Even family was seen as dubious, a mere consequence of sex. All right, so these weather frequencies, these might be important, huh? What are these things you brought back? Honestly, I don't know, but they seem important. They must be related to the rains. A weak man gave them to me in return for his life. He seemed to think they were extremely valuable. He implied that there were lots of people interested in them. I tried to learn more, but I couldn't. That is a really interesting bit of dialogue. Like, think of how much it tells us, how much subtext there is. A weak man gave them to Jag in return for his life. Jag held this weak man's life in his hands, and the man gave him something important. And then Jag tried to learn more, but he couldn't for some reason, as if the weak man died when Jag was responsible for his life. Like, did you torture him to death, Jag? I guess I'll say well done, but after musing that perhaps Jag just tortured a man to death, maybe I shouldn't say well done, but it's the only thing I can say. Well done, Jag. I also got some variables for a previous time. Variables must be the time travel thing. Found them in an old building that I was going to set up a trading post with a few other people in. It didn't happen, but I took advantage of the chaos to make off with this stuff. Good. I'm proud of you. Jeez. I'm just happy to see all of you again. I can't believe this works. Heh. It's kind of funny. What is? Well, I'm older than you now, but it still seems like you're my... protector? Heh, I suppose so, in a way. Whatever you want to call it, I love you. I love you too. Seeing you like this, I feel like I finally understand. Understand what, Jag? How you ended up leading the group. Out there, I mean. Even though you were only 12, younger than a lot of the others. Right, we're younger than 19. I actually read that the other way. I read, I'm older than I was. Like, Jag is older than he was, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't connect that I'm younger than 19. So apparently I'm 12. I was only 12. So yeah, between 12 and 19. Anyways, I prefer not to think about those times anymore. It was too intense, the things I had to do. Of course, coming back to this after 10 years plays havoc with your thoughts, memories, like walking back into the past, a different one. You know what I mean. Your personal one. Wow. Okay. And then we click on that. Okay. So this was the time of the Vetiverists. It was violent. And before that, I don't know, man. Weather frequencies, right. A collection of strange and incomprehensible data on weather. It seems to be a reference for something, with the implication that weather can be altered somehow. That would be nice if we could alter the weather. It would no longer rain metal. Okay, then. Let's send Mons back. What do you say? Oh, or someone with a high sensitivity. Ula. Let's see. Do we need determination or sensitivity? We could also send Mons with her determination to the time of the Vetiverists, I think. That would be interesting. Huh. Well, all right. Let's send high determination, low sensitivity Mons to the unknown time. Oh, and then Vetiverists might change, right? Sending somebody to the past inevitably changes the present, but if you can retrieve enough information on such things as astral event sonic parameters and environmental idiosyncrasies, you can send a person back safely while ensuring your current existence. Hopefully, we'll be okay. All right, let's send Mons back to the decade of 375 to 385 to discover what happened. I don't know. Trippy. I love the music so far. It's so cool. Honestly, I feel like this might be AI generated music. I shouldn't say that before looking up like who the composer is or whatever, but it does feel procedurally generated at times, but it's pretty cool. And I'm not a stickler for using technology in interesting ways. Okay, anyways, click on a character to close this chat window. Blah, blah, blah. Not a single day went by when I didn't think about you all. Only the thought of you kept me alive. That's Mons talking. I'm sure you did well, Mons. She brought back a lot of things. What did you discover? She gained determination and sensitivity. I think Jag also gained both of those things. Well, Mons discovered quite a lot. She says, it's a lot more peaceful than the time of the Vetiverists, so I was able to learn quite a bit, not only about the period I went to, but even earlier eras. Well, that sounds interesting. What did you learn about the past? I gathered variables for 2 different periods prior to the time I visited. I couldn't get anything further back. Very good. Tell me about them. Years before the time I went to, there was a lot of activity, a prosperous period where a lot of stuff was built. Before that, there was something called the Great Smothering. Okay, let's go in chronological order. So what was the Great Smothering about? It was actually referred to as the Great Beginning. The term smothering was seen as a bit subversive towards Nerolianism. I don't know why that was hard for me to say. Nerolianism. Emphasizing what came before rather than what came afterwards. Okay. Wait, sorry. Was Nerolianism emphasizing what came before rather than what came after? And then smothering was like smothering the past and growing the future. That would be the Great Beginning. I don't know. There was a growing anti-Nerolian sentiment in the time I went to, though it was still somewhat underground. Okay. So Nerolianism was the Great Beginning, emphasizing what came before rather than what came afterwards. And then afterwards, there was anti-Nerolian. They were mad about the Nerolians who did what the Nerolians called the Great Beginning, but what people who thought that was a bad idea called the Great Smothering, because you're smothering the past. All right, so what exactly was smothered? The past, yeah, just like we deduced. Great Smothering was what they called the period during which they eradicated everything from the past. Records, culture, art, everything. Yeah, that's a problem. Anything from the past that held any kind of inherent psychological or artistic value. Everything from the smallest teacup design to the largest architectural structure was destroyed if it didn't adhere to certain Nerolian principles. Anyone preserving such things was punished, though it seems like most people at the time believed fully in the concept. Why did they believe in the concept? Sort of depends on who you ask. There's the accepted history, the subversive one, and then all sorts of conspiracy theories. So what's the accepted story? That there was nothing worthwhile before the Nerolian age. That the stuff destroyed was all just clutter. That the incredible prosperity which followed was proof of Nerolianism and the great beginning's virtue. Okay, so yeah, that's accepted. And the subversive version? The anti-Nerolian version? Some people were starting to say that life before the smothering was actually better than what came afterwards. Well, how on earth could we possibly know that? They destroyed everything from the past. They thought that the Great Smothering, perhaps even Nerolianism itself, was just a method for gathering and retaining power. I mean, that is what it sounds like. By who? Certain Nerolians? Maybe other clandestine groups? It was frowned upon to even talk about such things, so it was often spoken about very vaguely. Okay, even in the time where she lived, or where she was for 10 years, she heard these subversive ideas, but it was frowned upon, possibly dangerous. Okay, tell me about these conspiracy theories. There were lots, stories, although it became hard to tell which were intended as entertainment and which were disguised as it. Some people were desperate for things to believe, beyond Nerolianism, I think. I gotcha. Some suggested that the smothering was an attempt to cover up terrible things from humanity's past, things which would make it impossible to go on. I find that hard to believe. I knew a man who believed it was a way of suppressing human beings' inherent supernatural abilities. There was also this idea that violence and chaos were humanity's true birthright, the only things which could bring a person true fulfillment. Ooh. Is this idea what the Vetiverianism came from? The one that Jag went to? I think a lot of it was just the malaise. People yearning for something other than the world they found themselves in. Yeah, that's what happens in times of plenty, in times of success, huh? People find themselves yearning for the past when things were more difficult. I mean, it's kind of what's happening in today's world, right? Every year is the worst year ever, despite our prosperity. And I mean, I'm not saying that times aren't tough and there's not inequality, but anyways, I get so political sometimes, don't I? I don't think there's anything of value to these theories. That's the only thing I can say. Tell me about this prosperous period. I do think there's value in the theories we just talked about, by the way, but that's okay. Tell me about the prosperous period. It was an incredible time of great people, though that might just be the self-glorification of history. It wasn't big or grandiose. That went against the Nerolian principles of the time. It was a pure kind of beauty, an efficient kind of luxury. Tell me more about Nerolianism. It was the foundation and purpose of the world back then. Okay, what is it? Essentially, it was the idea of focus being the most important quality, of removing anything that held no value. In Nerolianism, one must think like the arrow, not the target. There was little respect for a person who had many interests, for instance. They were meant to be singularly dedicated and pure and become a perfect expression of something. I think I get it. Were there no other ideas at the time? That's what I spent a lot of time investigating. Things were starting to emerge, but only on the fringes. Bergamism, Cedarism. People into them were seen as radicals, idiots, dangerous, though. Many, I think, were false, but some seemed promising. I brought back some materials related to them. And what about Vetiverists? It was an underground movement populated by people too weird and abrasive to adjust to society. It was a fairly superficial movement. They loved violence without actually engaging in it. They liked its radical nature. I don't think many were smart enough to come up with the idea themselves, though. Now, do I think the root of our current predicament lies deeper than this, or do I think what we have gone into the metal rain is because of Vetiverism. I do not think Vetiverism caused a metal rain. It doesn't seem technological enough, right? What I've concluded about Vetiverism is that it was a very primitive belief system that evolution and eugenics can create a better world through violence. That's the vibe I get from it, at least. Possibly it was more religious and they were hiding their true intentions of destroying the world, but I don't think so. I think the root of our current predicament lies deeper than this. I suppose we can go a bit further back now anyway. How many times do you think we'll have to do this? I don't know. I hope it's not too many. Thanks, Mons. You did well. Whew. And maybe we should talk with these kids. I forgot to talk with Mons. We talked to Jag. I didn't talk with Mons. Let's talk with Ula when she's 11. Will you be sending me next? Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. There's no talking to them. Let's look at our stuff. The poster. Dissonances from Clown, Agrios, Muscle Mess, Night, Special Guest, Aim. Again, the only way out of this is Bergamism. Okay, this is Bergamism. Every man and woman must make choices in life. Some choices are bigger, some are smaller. Sometimes the small ones are actually big ones. Make the right choice. And I can't read that. Who is this guy anyway? Aim Gend, the leader of Bergamism, I suppose. Our beloved Pure Goaty, who gave us the cleanliness and cattiness and boredom that we so love. Do you like our poster, Pure? Clutter. This is bizarre, man. My mom kicked me out of the house without warning, labeling on her cutlery. All right. Entry only permitted upon cutting of clothes. Interesting. Is this hedonism? Make the right choice. I mean, this makes me, just this little sliver of this makes me like Bergamism, because it's like, you know, we make choices, make the right choice. You know, that is pretty much my philosophy in life. All right, let's look at the stack of newspapers. Oh, no, we'll go to Bergamist art, because that's related to this poster, perhaps. What? All right, an impressionist artist. I still like Bergamism. Are these tiny hexagons? Looks like a beehive, huh? Okay, I don't know what this means. Maybe I don't like Bergamism. Let's look at these newspapers. A random collection of newspapers from the period immediately following the Great Smothering through to this time of suppressed tensions. That's where Mons just came back from. It offers some insight into the development of Nerolian society's initiation, prosperity, and the beginnings of its disintegration during this time. It also contains information about many other things, such as major disasters, events, and culture. Much of the news is minimally reported and seems purely functional, however. It appears that the purpose of newspapers in Nerolian society was not to entertain or inform generally, but to offer only usable practical data for those who needed such information. Yeah, Nerolians are very much this kind of dystopian trope of like focusing on a single productive task for the betterment of society. Maybe this Jag's drawing was supposed to hint that he's a violent kid and we shouldn't send him back to the time of Vetiverists. Anyways, suppressed tensions, right. And then prosperity through Immaculacy. The Great Smothering. And then 80 years later, and then hundreds of years later, we're still Nerolians. That's quite the empire. Well, I think the sensitive Ula... Interesting. This is so interesting. I kind of want to send Ula back to the time... Where should we send Ula? I don't know. She's 11. She's only 11. But I feel like we got to keep them all the same age. Like, that's so mean to keep her young. And it's really creepy, too. Let's get them old as quick as possible so that we're the young one. I don't know. All right, so I think this is the much safer time, but it might brainwash the sensitive Ula, right? I don't think she's determined enough to focus. She's more of like an artist. She would probably really like the Bergamists. Maybe we send her to suppress tensions. Can we do that? Maybe we should try this. Send another child and see what she says? Huh. And maybe the Vetiverists have changed things. Maybe sensitive Ula can change things. Let's try it. Whoa. Whoa. Interesting. So we can send Ula back to suppressed tensions, like with one of these things. I see. What about with the Bergamist art to learn about Aimgend? To take or learn from Aimgend. That's so interesting. Wow. Let's try it. So Aimgend was maybe the leader of the Bergamists. Wow. That's crazy. We could also send the Bergamist art back to the... No, we won't take any of that back. Oh, I should have taken Jag's drawing somewhere. Oh, well. Let's confirm. Oh, to help. To help or learn? Yeah, maybe we help. All right, let's help. A child armed with art. That's a terrible idea. Maybe the violent Jag could help. All right, let's learn. Oh, Ula, what are you gonna do? What a crazy game. I can't stop crying. It's okay, Ula, you're back now. What happened? This place seems so much smaller than I remember it. Oh, she's sad to be back. It's darker than she remembers it. Okay, so during this time, there's a lot of frustration during this time, a yearning for something new. It's obvious why people turned to Vetiverism. I think also that Nerolianism was never truly destroyed. It was adapted into something else. The absolute exclusive focus encouraged by Nerolianism combined and distorted with the principles of Vetiverism to create the extreme time of the Vetiverists. We must find another way of adopting Nerolian principles then. A purity of focus and the value of strength created killing as a virtue. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Indeed, there are already some ideas opposing the Nerolians here, not just the Vetiverists. Perhaps we can help one of these other groups. It wouldn't be easy, but with some determination or maybe just the right contact. Right, we could send Mons, but who do you think I should help? Well, the Vetiverists didn't need any help since it seemed they won out anyway. The Nerolians already had their time and were subverted. Of the other groups, I guess whoever seems most prominent. Well, you learned from Aimgend Okay, I guess... Yeah. It wasn't the right thing to do to learn from Aimgens. He doesn't seem to be the leader of the whatever they were. I already forgot. The Bergamist art. Yeah. Okay. Let us send sensitive Ula back to the Great Smothering, perhaps? Let's see what we can learn. The past is irrelevant. Distraction is death. Options obstruct. Entertainment pollutes the mind. History paralyzes the soul. These tenets of Nerolianism become universal as people embrace them. Viewing the immense accumulation of culture as a repulsive burden upon civilizations, Nerolians set about destroying all of it so that they may grow closer to that most valuable of virtues, focus. Because of this, gathering the variables needed for any time before this will be difficult. So we probably won't find anything to go back further than the Great Smothering. Okay, so Ula has low determination but high sensitivity. So she would be the least likely to break the future. But I think we want to break the future. So let's send back the violent Jag. Let's do it. Oh, and we can already send him to kill Nerolianism. What? I want to try this. And let's send him with a stack of news. That doesn't help. How do I get rid of this? Cancel. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, I do want to send Jag to kill Nerolianism. What would that look like? Oh, or subvert. But I like kill. I like kill. And should we send him back with his childhood drawing as motivation? Nah, let's just do it. This is a fun game. If you can't tell, it's very clear to me that there are multiple endings. All right. So this was the past. All right. So Jag, how was it? It was a rather exciting time, actually. They had many names for it. The new beginning, the great inception, the new future, that sort of thing. There was a sense that it really was the start of something positive, a new vision of life. What was life like? Quite active. Everybody was involved in removing the old world and building the new. Every day you would see a building torn down or a new one go up, a new sculpture in public or a new design concept for everyday objects. This sense of purpose gave everyone a sense of togetherness that made life quite easy, and the changes around them made it seem like anything was possible. Oh, okay, so I guess you failed in your quest to destroy it. Did you learn anything about what happened before all this? Not much. It was surprisingly difficult. Even though there were people still alive who must have known what came before, there were strict laws against discussing it. But more than that, it was simply an assumed truth that the clean future was good, and dredging up the past was destructive and negative. What do you think, King Adam, the 17th? I mean, about Nerolianism. Yeah, 12-year-old Adam really came up with quite the name for himself. It's actually very similar to how I came up with a name from this channel, which is like a total hilarious, sarcastic joke about how awesome I am. Anyways, I don't believe we should forget the past. Definitely don't think we should believe... I don't believe we should forget the past. I mean, that's the total antithesis of this game, is to forget the past and focus on the future. I think the past can teach us many things. That's why we have a time machine. Are you all right, Jag? Yeah, he was the wrong person to send. He has given in fully to Nerolianism. Sure. Tell me. It's really nothing. I'm still getting my head around it all. It looks like you have something on your mind. That obvious? I was never a good liar. What is it? It's going to sound silly. Go on, Jag. I had a girl back there. Lens Pia was her name. Did you love her? More than anything. How long were you together? 3 years. I broke up with her about a month ago, knowing I would have to come back here. I'm sorry, Jag. I'm sure it was very difficult. Wow. Yeah, it was. For a second, I almost thought about... No, don't worry. I would never have done that to all of you. Wow. He almost didn't come back. Dang. Okay, and he didn't bring us back anything. All right, let's send Mons to prosperity. I don't know. People have an abundance of wealth, productivity, and time. It could easily be deemed a utopian period. The values of Nerolianism run throughout society and thought. It advocates simplicity, clarity, and purity, with complexity, abstraction, and multitudes regarded as disgusting evils. The person purposeful of thought and singular in lifestyle is celebrated. It is aesthetically minimalist, culturally bland, and socially honest. All right, well, Mons with her determination sounds like a good one to send back. But what is she going to do? Subvert? I don't know who these people are, do I? I don't know them. Subvert Nerolianism with Bergamist art? I really want to change things. Let's try this. It's not going to work, though. Maybe the stack of newspapers? I really have no idea. Let's send Mons back to prosperity through Immaculacy, which was 80 years after or so the Great Smothering. We give her a stack of newspapers that kind of show what's happening 300 years in the future from where she's going. And she's going to use them to subvert or give to Nerolianism. I don't know, maybe the art would be better for that, but the art didn't really do it for me, so I'm going to assume it's not going to do it for the people of this time. This might be the last one, and then I'll finish this run next time. How was it? I enjoyed it. It was a happy time. There was energy and an optimism for the future, a sense that things were getting better all the time. It felt very strange to be the only person who knew that things wouldn't. What did you learn? It was hard to learn anything. The fundamental principle of society was Nerolianism, which meant the removal of all superfluous or alternate ideas, making it hard to discover anything beyond it. Yeah, I know enough about it. Did you subvert it? What did you do? I didn't need to do much to survive. There was so much opportunity and production that living was easy. It was a society in which you could do whatever you wanted as long as it adhered in some way to Nerolianism. I see. What were the people like, Mons? To me, to us, they seemed odd but good. To us? What? Huh. They were honest, direct, but somewhat boring. They were dedicated to their chosen work or purpose, which might make them seem simple. Though in such a society, the smallest idiosyncrasy became hugely important. Perception of an entire person could focus upon their use of a certain word, or a small mannerism, for instance. So maybe I should send the sensitive Ula back. Do you think we can influence this time period in any meaningful way? Despite how well things were going, I think so. There were definitely elements that we could exploit. There was constant discussion about society and its undertakings by everyone. Such discussions were odd in that they often focused on what should be forgotten and consigned to the past, rather than where to direct the future. There was a woman called Tam Welk, for instance, who grew in prominence during the decade. She was a good leader and a unique thinker who had a talent for foreseeing problems. A pivotal figure, I think. Let's send Ula back to help her. There were also intense arguments around design. Factions formed and rearranged themselves constantly around such ridiculous ideas. Things like the nature and purpose of corners, color contrasts, or the shape of light switches. They all adhered to the principles of Nerolianism, of course, but differed on how to manifest them. There was a serious fear that art and design was how radicals could potentially subvert things. Is Tam Welk a radical? No, she was just a leader, possibly harboring ideas about art and design that was radical to the time. Finally, there was a controversial idea that began to gather steam while I was there, that people over 50 should be encouraged to kill themselves. Yeah, it goes to what I'm saying, where this time period seems like a very dystopian, like a common dystopian trope. You know, like I feel like I've seen this in, I don't know, something. The book where there's no word for I or me, perhaps. What is that? Brave New World, I think. The fear was that they were more inclined to retain old superfluous ideas and also might have accumulated the power to maintain them. A man named Rero Higg was the figurehead. The argument against the figurehead of the idea that old people should kill themselves. Okay, the argument against it was that the young were more impulsive and were thus just as, if not more, likely to subvert Nerolianism. Wow, so the argument against killing old people was not that that's bad, but that the young were more likely to subvert Nerolianism. And we want to subvert Nerolianism, perhaps. I have no idea. I feel like the problem with the metal rain goes back further, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't. Okay, I guess we can ask what Mons thinks. Do you think Reru Higg was right about this idea to kill people older than 50? I mean, I guess we're not killing them. We're encouraging them to kill themselves, but still. Do you think he's right? I think he has a point. In a safe and prosperous society like the one I just visited, almost everyone lives to an old age, and their qualities are preferred over the vitality and impulsiveness of the young. King Adam the 17th, do you think I'm like you? Huh. I want to be nice. I think he has a point. Which, yeah, I think he has a point that old people are more conservative. I don't know. Yes, I think we are all people. I think we all have the human condition in us, and our differences of opinion do not make us significantly different. Yes, very much so. I think you are like me. That makes me happy. Oh, I'm happy to make you happy, Mons. Wow. All right, what'd she bring back? Nerolian Fashion Mag. Oh, hot. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Interesting. Okay. What should we do next time? I don't know. I was planning on just doing one run of this, and I was expecting it to not take that long. There were some reviews on Steam that said, like, I've played two runs of this, and the playtime was in 1.4 hours, or, you know, that sort of thing. So I was expecting to be able to finish this up, but it clearly looks like not. Reading out loud definitely takes more time. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I really, really hope, if you've watched this far and you're considering getting this game because it looks cool, I really encourage you to do that. This was a game made by a single developer, and go support them. It was $10, which isn't nothing, but it looks like it's pretty cool, and there's going to be replay value and really interesting ideas, well written as far as I can tell. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you treat it as sort of a demo of the game and you go buy it instead of being like, well, I don't need to buy the game because I'll just watch Adam play it. Anyways, y'all take care.